Good morning, Mixed Weir. RoadToRoot.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of coffee. Cheers. Yes, it's tea, but I have an announcement for Bitcoin Ben. We will be doing a live happy hour concert today at Road to Ruta YouTube channel. I got a new microphone. It sounds pretty good, so I could do it off my phone and the whole thing, and it sounds okay. Doesn't sound great, but it sounds okay. I don't have a full elaborate system, but it should work. So we're gonna do a live happy hour, which means I'm going off the juice cleanse this afternoon. I'm gonna have I don't know, probably a Coors Light. That's my drink of choice. Why am I doing this? Why am I bailing on Bitcoin Ben? Bitcoin Ben didn't need my help. Bitcoin Ben can do this blindfolded. When Bitcoin Ben sets his mind to something, it's going to happen no matter what. Right now, he set his mind on finishing the cleanse, which is tomorrow. And he is solid. Nice job, Bitcoin Ben. He has also set his mind on freeing the world from the slavery that they're in right now. He wanted to change the world a while back. Kelly was telling me, his wife was telling me, Ben wanted to change the world. And he's doing it. How many people can say that? So no, Bitcoin Ben did not need my help on this cleanse. I was in solidarity with him for 5 days or so doing my juice. But I think a Friday happy hour is much more important than me finishing 7 days of a cleanse. So Bitcoin Ben, bravo to you. Tomorrow night at midnight, he's done. So he can sip some guava juice while we're doing our live happy hour today. Thinking 3 p.m. Pacific time. It's Friday. 3 p.m. I can start drinking at 3, right? And we're going to sing songs. And I don't want to talk about cryptos. I'll sing some crypto songs, but I got to do some covers. Why not? Let's just have some fun. Maybe get Amy. I'm trying to get Amy to pull her ukulele out, but she's just not going to do it. Those of you who have seen and heard her play, it's awesome. It's quite an event. One day, maybe at the Litecoin Summit, at the event before the Litecoin Summit. I can get her to do that. She's going to talk about the cleanse there. Anyway, what I want to talk about today is freedom. Freedom and the responsibility and the individual responsibility that you have to fight for your freedom. We can't have Bitcoin Ben saving the world. We need to save it with him. So a big part of being free is being financially free. I have said for a long time, cryptos and metals will save us from our current problem. Our current problem being the unbacked fiat monetary system, the corrupt system that we deal with every day. Yes, the regulators are massively corrupt. We all know that. And I'll get to that in 1 second because a really interesting discussion and decisions being made on Veritaseum by the Veritaseum community. I am not that involved with the Veritaseum community, but being involved for a short time frame, there are so many people out there that the SEC did not talk to, did not contact about what was going on. So I'm going to get to that in a second. But right now, we got a little green in cryptos, which is nice. But look at the volumes. You get excited about a little green, and then you look at the volumes and say, this is pure manipulation. Look at the volumes. Litecoin, always my favorite because it's one of the most highly rigged cryptocurrency. It's got a $4 billion market cap, and $2.3 billion have been traded in the last 24 hours in Litecoin. That's the telltale sign of market manipulation. When every 2 days, 100% of the Litecoin that's ever been created trades hands on these exchanges. That is manipulation, my friends. I hate to tell you. I know you're used to it now. And people say, no, Bix, that's just trading volume. Bullshit. That is 100% manipulation. Get your cryptos off the exchanges because they don't have them. They'll tell people, oh, you've got this many cryptos in your wallet. You do not have them. You do not have them. They don't have them. Look at the volumes. None of them. It's a fractional reserve system, just like the banking system. For every $1 you put in a bank, they create 10 and they loan it out. If everybody came back to get their money out, the banks wouldn't have the money and they'd shut down. With the cryptocurrency exchanges, some are 1,000 to 1. Some have no cryptos at all. And I say, oh, they're trading my favorite coin. Yeah, they are, in electronic form. You try to pull it out and say, oh, it's down for maintenance. Oh, this company got hacked. Bullshit. Mt. Gox was not hacked. It was a fractional reserve system. And then somebody, probably a big player, decided to pull all their cryptos out, and voila, Mt. Gox didn't have them. Now there's a lot of the crypto cabal, the bad guys in on Mt. Gox, and they're still trying to get their money out of Mt. Gox. And hopefully the Trump executive order to confiscate the ill-gotten gains of the bad guys will come into fruition there. We'll find out though, right? So yes, just look at the volumes. I mean, what should trading of a standalone asset, what kind of volume should a standalone asset have? It should be very small. Very small. I mean, look at silver. 300 billion ounces of silver trade every year, which is a tiny, tiny market. The silver market is tiny. Why is there 3 billion ounces traded every year on the 2 exchanges that trade silver? It's manipulation, my friends. It's obvious to anybody looking at it. And the same thing is happening in cryptocurrencies. Wait till BACT comes in. Watch the volumes in BACT. Because it is a derivative exchange with a component, a physical delivery component. I call it physical. It can be physical. Yeah, you can put it physical right here on a right there, Veritaseum. Who wants a Veri wallet? Who wants a one Veritaseum token right here? Go ahead, scan away. We'll talk about Veri in a second. But yes, there's a physical Veritaseum token right here. I like to call it physical because it is in line with what goes on in the comics. Comics, they have a physical delivery component. And everybody's excited, when the SLV came in because there's a physical delivery component, but there's not really. It's a handful of authorized participants. They seclude themselves because they're not going to pull the plug on their own system, and they collude with each other to rig the prices. So, BACT, great. We're going to see what happens. I would just say to everybody out there, if you want to see manipulation, watch the volumes. And if they announce to the public how much physical Bitcoin is removed from the BACT system and put into storage, either off in the purchaser's account, if they explain to the world, then I'll be more on board with BACT. If they have very opaque or actually very easy to get to delivery statistics. How many Bitcoin were delivered on this day to which account, so we can track where it goes from there. If it just goes back into the BACT system, that's manipulation. So it's all about the deliveries out of the BACT system. And if they report that, which they should, it's going to be regulated. The CFTC reports on all deliveries of silver. Most of it went to JP Morgan. If they report that, then we can track it. Then I could even get on board with the BACT system. If they're going to report where this Bitcoin is actually going, the wallets it's actually going to, the amount of volume that's traded versus how much real Bitcoin is withdrawn by the customer, then I could get on board. But until then, no. All right. So yesterday I was up on a big rant about Veritaseum, and the more I think about it and get feedback and information, the biggest thing to me, I don't know if the SEC is criminal, stupid, or just missing something, but there's obviously missing something. And you know what I think they're missing? I think they're missing the input of the Veritaseum community, the people who participated in the ICO, bought Veritaseum to use it as a software product. I don't think the SEC contacted any of those people. I think a small handful of people who lost their ass on Veritaseum when it spiked up and crashed down, maybe less than 4 or 5 people went to the SEC and said, oh my God, it's a fraud. And the SEC ran with that. That's what I think personally, what I think happened. But they're missing the vast majority of Veritaseum investors and holders and people involved with that project. Why? Why didn't they go to those people and say, hey, we got a couple people saying this is a fraud. Are you using your Veritaseum? Do you have a place to use your Veritaseum? Obviously, the SEC shut down their best projects as they were going. But there is a huge community in Veritaseum that was really excited about the project, about the software, using the software for peer-to-peer capital transactions. A huge community, myself included. And that's why I contacted the SEC. I said, why didn't you come to me? Why didn't you come to the thousands of other people who were on board 100% with Veritaseum and what Reggie was doing? Instead, I think this is, other than being corrupt, this is the only other thing that it could be. I think that two or three, a small handful of people went to the SEC and complained because they bought Veritaseum at too high a price and they lost their ass and then said, oh, Reggie's a fraud. And so they went to Veritaseum, or they went to the SEC and said, we need to investigate this thing. And the SEC obviously takes orders from somebody else, went through that investigation, but they never, ever, ever went to the Veritaseum community. And it was easy to do. The Veritaseum community has a huge Telegram chat room. They're on Telegram, I forgot the name of it, but one of the participants, here's where I think this is going. One of the participants, this guy named Jeremy, set up a petition, an I-petition. It's real easy to set up, and he vented his frustrations about the SEC lawsuit against Veritaseum when he was a user. He's got family members with gold and silver locked up because the SEC froze all Reggie's assets. Now remember, the SEC's job is to protect the retail investors. Why didn't they contact the thousands of Veritaseum owners? Why did they just rely on a couple people who said, oh, I lost my shirt, it must be a fraud? And then everything the SEC did since then has been to prove that Veritaseum is a fraud. Richie is a fraud. But if you read both the documents, the filings by the SEC and the filings by Reggie and Veritaseum, it is obvious it is not a fraud. It is obvious that something else was going on behind the scenes. And the thing that really pisses me off is there are thousands and thousands of Veritaseum investors, many of them looking to use the product. And the Telegram gang of Veritaseum users were looking to use the product, which is awesome. And that's why this token and software was created. So this guy Jeremy set up an I-petition, and he said, it is not a legal document. And then the people on the Telegram chat room are, well, the lawyers are saying this won't stand up in court. It's not meant to stand up in court. The court proceedings with Veritaseum and the SEC are being dealt with by the SEC lawyers and by Reggie and his lawyers. They are off on their quest to fight each other, hopefully to come to some equitable solution. But that's their deal. That's their fight. Are we, as the owners of Veritaseum, the participants in the ICO, supposed to be silent until they figure out what's going on? We have been. We have been way too silent. Cryptocurrency investors have been way too silent when it comes to the SEC's manipulation of us. They're holding this gavel over our heads saying, hey, don't you go out of line. We're not going to tell you the rules or the laws, but don't you ever cross any. If you cross us, we're going to hammer you with this gavel. And you're going to go to jail. That's what the SEC has threatened. They've given us no guidelines and no rules for cryptocurrencies for 10 years. That is not right. And we've let the lawyers fight it out. Everybody's let the lawyers fight it out. All they're going to fight it out in court. What does the law say? The SEC is trying to box in every single cryptocurrency into their little narrow definition written in 1933 or 34 of what a security is. And here we are in 2019 inventing whole new products. I mean, obviously, Veritasium is not an equity position in the Veritasium token. It's not an equity position in Veritasium, the company. There's and the Howey test is one of many. There's been many lawsuits afterwards that have proved it's not just the Howey test about what a security is. And that's pointed out clearly in the response by Reggie and his lawyers. So Reggie and his lawyers are doing one thing. And should we all just shut up and let them come to a conclusion? I don't believe in that. I think that's wrong. I think that's part of the reason why the SEC came to such a bad conclusion in their filing. They didn't talk to thousands of Veritasium investors. They didn't ask them, did you know this was a software product? Or did you think you had equity position and it was a security? They didn't talk to any of them, as far as I know. They talked to a few people who complained probably bought Veritasium directly from Reggie after the ICO, because the Veritasium's up way higher than the ICO price. So you're not going to have any pissed off investors there. And Reggie was out there trying to do all this stuff, even though the SEC was stopping him from doing it. So it was probably people who bought in at, $100, $200, $300 directly from Reggie. The price got slammed because, of course, all cryptocurrencies, all altcoins got slammed, and they're trying to blame Reggie and saying, oh, this is a fraud. When Reggie works his ass off for 2 years trying to build this thing out, even with the SEC stopping them and hindering them. Anyway, so the discussion on Telegram was, I don't know if we should do this. Now, this is one guy, Jeremy Stevenson, who posted to this iPetitions thing. Just one guy. And he goes on a little rant. It's a great rant. And a lot of it's true and some of it's conspiracy. And there's people, probably lawyer types, within the Telegram chat room were saying, yeah, this might not be good for our case. This might prove the SEC's case that we're not, fully aware of what the laws are. Let me tell you, I've been down this road before with silver. 20 years. And my friends at GATA, and they're saying, we got them now. The lawyers are in charge of it, and we got the CFTC, and we're gonna litigate this properly, and there's been lawsuits. 20 years of manipulation has not stopped anything. It had going through the system is not what's going to stop it. Voicing your opinion, voicing that you, the investor, the people that the SEC are supposed to protect, that's who's going to stop it. We need to voice our opinion. I don't know if it'll help or hurt Reggie's cause and Veritasium's cause with the SEC on the legal front. I don't know. But do you really want to sit there and let these people decide the fate of your investment without voicing your opinion? And that's what this petition is doing. And it's not the amount of signatures you get. Hell, anybody could sign up and sign it. Read the comments. There's 285 comments. People who own Veritasium that want to use it. People who own Veritasium that have been using it. People are just pissed off at the SEC for stopping such an amazing innovation at the time we need it. We need an alternative to our current system of exchanging capital assets. The comics, the LBMA, of course, they're going to be against it. Read the comments. And if you believe it, if you think you're going to use Veritasium one day in the future, absolutely, sign the petition. I'm going to put a link right below this video. I hope this thing goes viral. No, it is not a legal construct, and there's conspiracy theory all over this. But it is the people, it is the comments below it that are blowing me away. There are so many people on the side of Veritasium, on the side of cryptocurrencies, on the side of taking back our power. There should be no SEC. There should be no CFTC. All they do is run cover. And for people within the Telegram chat room to say, this isn't within the structure of the law, it might hurt the case. You buying into their system. Cryptos are about not buying into their system. And I don't know if it'll hurt the case. And I would tell everybody, yeah, think about it if you want to think about it. It's a conspiracy letter. Is it going to hurt the case? Is it not going to hurt the case? Is it good to have these 5 SEC lawyers hear from the people? Because they haven't yet. I can guarantee you they have heard from a couple pissed off people who bought too high. Now, I don't know if Reggie sold them a bill of goods that they think they, on a personal basis, Reggie did something bad. I don't know. But Reggie was very clear when he was selling this that it is not a security. It was software. It was always software. It is a prepaid token to have access to the software. That's what it was. Read the documentation and read all the comments. That's what people are saying. If we have 2 or 3 people say, oh, Reggie's a fraud, and he made me invest this money, and he told me something different, I don't know. I mean, that's the only thing that could potentially give the SEC any say at all. But everything in that SEC document was revealing as to what they've been doing to Reggie because he was working with them. The SEC said, just come work with us. That's all you need to do. And that's what Reggie did for 2 years, and they were subverting every deal he did. It is insane. So, if you want to, read the petition and sign it. I would say read the comments below, and you can understand just how screwed the individual investor was. They weren't screwed by Reggie. They weren't screwed by Veritaseum. They were screwed by the SEC. And the SEC should read through all these comments, in my opinion. If they want both sides of the story, they're a regulator. They're a regulator. They're not supposed to take a side and then stick to it and not listen to everybody else. The thousands of people who invested in the Veritaseum token and platform and believe that is a huge future for that type of platform is absolutely needed in our criminal markets. So, the petition, link to the petition is right below this video. Read it. If you agree with it, sign it. And then if you have some comments, especially if you're a very user or holder, or you plan to use it, in the future, if you plan, great line right at the beginning. We, the current and future users of this platform, have absolutely no doubt to the legitimacy of Veritaseum, nor the very utility token it requires us to hold to use the peer-to-peer software. Those are the people who are the retail investors. Those are the people that the SEC are trying to protect. And we're saying, we know it. We know what we're getting into. If 2 or 3 people go to the SEC and say, I'm mad, and then luckily, we're going to find out who those people are. In the disclosure of all the documents, we're going to probably, I think, find out who filed the complaints and what they said was done to them. I think it should be all open in the court filings. We'll find out, I guess. Anyway, if you are interested in joining this charge, it's a charge. It's one of the first times that cryptocurrency holders and users, especially users of the very token, have a chance to voice their opinion. And Jeremy, thank you for doing this. Anybody afraid of the SEC, anybody afraid of putting something like this out there, you're missing the point. We need to tell the world that this is where we want to go. The retail investors that the SEC is supposed to protect. Theoretically, if the SEC sees thousands of signatures here and thousands of comments here, they should say, interesting. Maybe I wasn't right. Maybe I fired my trigger way too fast when it came to going after SEC, because it really looks like the retail investors are mad at me. They're not mad at Veritaseum. They're not mad at Reggie Middleton. They're mad at the SEC. If a handful of people are mad at Reggie and Veritaseum and think they got ripped off, let's find out if they got ripped off. But it doesn't mean Reggie was a fraud. It doesn't mean that the Veritaseum token isn't absolutely necessary for our future in some form or another. Anyway, comment if you can, if you got something to say, and sign the petition if you want to. And it's right below here. Right below here. And as you go down to look at the link to the petition, click like and subscribe at roadtoroot.com. So I've been fighting this fight for a long time. And the traditional system through the courts does not work. I don't care how sound the lawyers are or how sound the argument is on a legal basis. They don't deal that way. Go to roadtoroot.com, hit the search button, type in CFTC, and you can find 354 written articles that I've written. Many of them to the CFTC directly. Phone calls, like you name it. Bart Chilton is the only guy I could get to. It is important. It is important that our voice is heard. And in cryptos, if you believe in cryptos, and you believe in what Reggie was trying to do, is trying to do, even though he was blocked all the way for 2 years. You know, whoever complained about Veritaseum and Reggie, I hope they knew that that Reggie was being blocked from succeeding by the CFTC. I hope they know that. And I hope they approach the SEC and say, I want to withdraw my complaint. I didn't know the SEC was blocking the VADAR. I didn't know the SEC was blocking the Jamaican deal. I didn't know the SEC is trying to block the veritization of gold and silver. So anybody, any investor on the side of the SEC that feels like, holy crap, this opens up a lot of reasons why Veritaseum was not successful so far. It's because they were being blocked by the very people who are supposed to look after our best interests. Maybe Jeff Berwick is 100% right. Maybe the government isn't out for our good. I'm just saying. That's my rant for this morning. This is Big Weir of roadtoroot.com. Tune in at 3 o'clock Pacific time this afternoon for a live concert. I don't know where it'll go. I'm going to play Litecoin is the Right Coin because I love that song. I'm going to play Way of the Crypto Warriors. But I'll probably play a lot of bar songs. Maybe some drinking tunes because I can finally have a beer after 5 days. And Bitcoin Ben, congratulations. Tomorrow night at midnight, I don't know of what's it called, Circle 7 the wing place Circle 7. Go there earlier. This is what I did. Go there earlier in the day on Saturday. Get yourself a big bucket of wings. Take it home and get some beers. Take them home and videotape midnight. How about a live stream at midnight on Saturday night of Bitcoin Ben eating chicken wings and beer? I bet you'll have a whole bunch of people tuning into that. I will. I will be the first one in line to watch Bitcoin Ben come off his cleanse with chicken wings and beer. But expect to have a huge stomachache the next morning because you're supposed to. Amy's going to get mad at me for promoting you jumping right into chicken wings and beer because you're supposed to ease your way out. And you will have a big stomachache, but it'll be so worth it. Let me listen to a voice of experience. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. BigSquareRoadToRoad.com. Check in at 3 o'clock. Talk to you later.